January issue of the magazine is already sold out. He's got a full page in the January issue of the magazine. We're very grateful to him for putting us on the map and helping to put us on the map. So we know we're just going to, as that January magazine hits those mailboxes, people are going to come rushing to our center because they did not know that there was one in Washington, D.C. So it's, please do tell your friends, and please do talk about us on social media in a good way. So Reverend Dr. Raymont is a practitioner here, and he is the president of our board of directors. He knows at least one other language. And we're just always delighted when he agrees to be our speaker, which is generally the third Sunday of each month. So please join me in welcoming Reverend Dr. Raymont.
So how is everybody today?
Good. Great. Wonderful.
Because I'm sure everybody can hear me. You don't need a mic. We're all good, right? So the theme today, or the topic title is "'Tis the Season," right? And this whole idea of "'tis the season," but what is the season for? Or "'tis the season for what?" So let me rewind a little bit and put summer 2007, right? I'm in New York City, and walking through New York on my way to the movie theater because I decided I wanted to see a movie, and there are two young boys on a corner singing. Now in New York, on any given day, you're going to see anything anyway, but there are these two young men standing on the corner singing, and of all the things they could be singing, what do you think they were singing? Christmas songs. So they're trying to get people to sing with them and, come on, come on. And people are walking by and people are grumpy and people are like, it's the middle of July and blah, blah, blah.
Christmas in July.
So being the person that I am, the character that I am, of course, I walk over and start singing with them. The way that they lit up and other people started to come around and started to sing as well made me start thinking about this whole idea of why do we relegate one particular day to give flowers to the people we love? Why do we relegate one day to remember that we are the Christ, we are the I am, and we are the light? Why do we set these one particular day? Now, I understand the idea that no one's going to walk around and say, it's January 1st, happy birthday to me, it's my birthday, give me a gift. It's January 2nd, happy birthday to me, it's my... No one's going to walk around every single day celebrating, per se, your birth. But why not? Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you wake up every single morning and say, happy birthday to me, I'm alive again, I'm here again, I'm celebrating again, here right now? Why not? And even to be able to say to everything in life that we understand that, because holiday, what is the ultimate concept of holiday? Holiday comes from a holy day. Now we, metaphysicians, we already know and understand that every day is a holy day. And by our own consciousness, when a day appears that doesn't seem to be such, we, by the power of our word, by the power of our consciousness, we remind ourselves, because it can't not be, right? It can't not be holy. It's our consciousness that determines how we perceive a thing. So we're the ones who determine if we plug into the Christmas machine or not, right? We're the ones that decide this. Just because Target and Walmart start putting up Christmas decorations in October, soon as the candy goes on sale, doesn't mean we need to go in and say, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, and they already got Christmas stuff up. We don't have to buy into that, but many of us do. Many of us get to this period of the year and we get the holiday blues for a variety of reasons. But why? Why do we have to say, oh my goodness, I got so much shopping to do. I got to buy 15 gifts for the grandkids and gifts for the nieces and nephews, and oh my goodness, I don't know that I'm able to get it. She said that was yesterday. But why do we feel the stress of? Why do we buy into when we have the opportunity to go into consciousness and go into that place within? You know, why did Jesus say, go within? The kingdom of heaven is within. Go within. Quiet your mind. Find that still place. That place where in the stillness of this inhale and that exhale, there's a pause where there's infinity. And between the heartbeat, there's a pause where there's infinity. And the moment we step into that place of absolute peace, absolute quiet, absolute stillness, there is nothing else to be confused. Or as Jan Levan Zandt said, there is no more conflama, confusion and drama to buy into. Because I am the captain of my ship. I determine how I'm going to sail the ship. Now, I've said this many times to people before that, yes, so I don't control the ocean. You know, I can't come out to, theoretically, I can't come out to the bow of the ship and say, you know, waves be still. And they be still. But let's just, for the sake of conversation, say that that element of consciousness hasn't gotten there yet to be like Yeshua and command the waves. Say I'm not there quite yet, in theory. So the water is, and the boat is, right? And I can't control that. But can I or can I not control the ship? I get to say, well, let's pull over there and dock. Let's throw anchor or pull anchor. Let's raise the sails and sail over there where the seas are calmer. I don't have to sit in the confusion of the waters and bemoan the waters. And see, that, for me, that's what the whole holiday season represents, is our opportunity to be reminded of how powerful we truly are. That we are, in this time of year, whether it's Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa, why do all three of these have light as the significant symbol? Why is, now, you have Halloween, you have St. Patrick's Day, you have all these other holidays that focus on a variety of different things. But here you have this time of year, and you have this big push toward remembering that you are light. That you are the light of the world in one way, shape, or form. Whether you feel that you have it in you, whether you feel that it's somewhere and you have access to it, however you conceptualize this idea, it's a reminder that you're it. Because sometimes we don't feel like it's able to, you know, it's not really us. Like when we say things like, I am the I am. Sometimes we can't really feel that. When someone tells you, do you realize that you are God? That you are God showing up in human flesh? That everything that the Christ child, that the three wise men, the magi, that all of them represent the powers that you are in one way, shape, or form. Moses, all of these characters, you are them. You have the ability to part the sea. You have the ability to walk on water. You have. Sometimes it's hard for us to grasp that and say, well, Ray, I understand what you're saying. However, light bill came in and the doctor said, and there's all this stuff. So I understand that there are times when we can't allow that element of greatness to be in the forefront of our mind. And that's fine. Because, as any educator in the room will say, you're not going to take a first grader and throw them into University of Maryland in a freshman class and expect them to do chemistry at the same level that everybody else in that. It's not going to work that way. So we progress at the level and speed that we are ready to progress. Right? So, if right now I'm still at a state where I feel God is separate from me, that's fine. Because I know that the moment I give myself permission to acknowledge that even if I perceive this light, this power, this presence as separate, that at some point that separation is going to get closer and closer and closer until there is no space between it and I. So this time of year reminds us that the light that we seek, whether it's via Christmas trees, whether it's a menorah, whatever that is, every time we see a light, we have an opportunity to say, that's me. That the thing that when people walk through the streets and they see these Christmas lights, and people pay to drive their cars through parks where trees are lit and there's like soldiers and stuff marching in the, and people pay to drive through this and be amazed by these lights. And if you've never done it, it's a beautiful spectacle to behold. But we pay to see these lights. The Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center is a big deal. When it's time for the tree to go up, it's a big deal. And people gather to see the lights and the tree. And last Christmas or Thanksgiving, Tracy, Sarah, and I, we were in New York for the Macy's Day Parade, and we're walking past, I think it was Saks Fifth Avenue, and they had the entire front lit up, and they were playing music, and of course my favorite Christmas song came on, Carol of the Bells, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, and the lights are flashing, and I'm just standing there like, if you know me, you know I'm not lying. I was mesmerized. You would have thought I was a 3-year-old child, like, this is magic. And and I took a moment to say, all of this, whatever it is, whether I call it magic, whether I call it beautiful, whether I call it magnificent, the only reason I can feel what I feel about it is because it's already in me. See, the big thing is, anytime you see something beautiful, you can't recognize it as beautiful if you don't have that in you already. Reverend Alex opened up service today speaking in Spanish. Those of us who are Spanish challenged didn't understand. But those who know the language knew everything that she said and understood because you have it in you. So when you see beauty, the only reason you can acknowledge it or recognize it as beauty is because you have it in you. The only reason you can acknowledge and recognize the magnificence of whatever it is, the lights, the wonderment of music, the only reason you can acknowledge and feel whatever that is, hair standing up on your arm or your neck, because something hit you so magnificently that you were like, I'm in awe. The only reason that can happen is because it's already in you. So what is the purpose of this season? Finish this statement. 'Tis the season to be jolly. But are we willing to be jolly? And what does it even mean to be jolly? There are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of Christmas songs that we sing and we joyfully, we get all into it. But do we really sit back as metaphysicians and say, what is this song that I'm singing? What do these words mean? Because as metaphysicians, we know and understand that every thought we think and every word we speak has power, right? Can I share a little bit of something with you for a second?
Okay.
So, once again, this is the nerd in me. Did anyone in here see the movie Dune or familiar with the book Dune by Frank Herbert?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this concept in the movie, in the book, of this method or technique called the weirding way, where Muad'Dib, who is the savior in the story, where he's teaching them that words have power. And the concept is because he says to them, what we believe is that thoughts have a sound, and that sound can then manifest accordingly. Now, he's teaching them in context of war. So he's saying certain thoughts create certain sounds, and certain sounds can paralyze, etc., etc. But the idea that thought has a sound, and that sound, when expressed, changes matter, made me start thinking about this whole thing. And I can't think of the name of the artist who does this video, but there's a video where they're playing music and they're showing how the vibration of the music, it's cymatics, but they're showing how the vibration of the music changes fire, changes water, like salt crystals on an amplifier, and how if you change the note, it changes a geometric pattern on the plate. Sound, vibration, affects matter. So when we pray, when we treat, when we curse at someone, could the words that we are speaking literally, actually, be changing and transforming the matter of this person's body? So that when I go home for Thanksgiving, or whenever I used to go home for whatever I went home for, and the family fights would happen. Looking back now, it was amazing to know that here I am sitting at the Thanksgiving table, and mom is cursing at dad, and then mom is cursing at other family members, and then everybody fussing and fighting, and everyone ended up with an upset stomach after dinner. Is it possible that these words that are flying through space sank into the food, and that we ingested the food, and the food that was now cursed us, to the point where we were no longer feeling the nourishment of the food? Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But the thing is, do we take enough inventory to say, I am mindful enough of the words that I speak to know that rather than speaking a curse, I'm able to speak a blessing, even when I may not want to? Because I know that, like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So I know that whatever comes out of this thing is just as powerful as when Sarah is on duty and she has to draw her weapon. And when she points it, damage can be done. When I open this and point it, damage can be done. So it's very important that here we are. 'Tis the season to be jolly. 'Tis the season to be joy-filled. 'Tis the season to be reminded that we are light. And that's all great and good on the surface, but when it comes down to it, what does that really mean? What does it mean to be the light in expression? What does it mean to be the Christ in expression? And for each and every one of us, if we were to go individually and Reverend Alex quizzes you on the mission and the purpose and the vision and stuff, which happens right after service, but no. And then I come in and say, okay, so one by one, can you tell me, and then I ask each individual person, what does it mean to be the light? What does it mean to be the Christ? What does it mean to be happy? To simply be happy. The answer is going to vary from person to person, because different ones of us express it differently. And that's fine. That's the diversity of the universe showing up in and as each one of us. But the important thing is that we know for ourselves that when I wake up Monday morning, if I do not feel in alignment, if I do not feel in complete coherence with Source, that I know how to put myself back into focus. I make this joke, I say to people, every now and then we'll wake up and, we'll walk to the radio and we'll, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 666 Radio, where it's all evil, all darkness, and all damnation all day long. And some people sit back and say, oh, this is my station. I love this. They play my jam. Okay, I got to turn this up. Everything is miserable. And we sit there and we play the songs and listen to the songs over and over again, versus saying, well, wait a minute. I do have the ability to walk over to this thing and change this station to something that's more uplifting and something that's more empowering, something that's going to actually benefit not only me, but by me being in alignment, by me knowing the truth of my being, I'm then able to truly walk the walk. I'm able to do what, the Bible says, physician heal thyself, and I always tweak it and say, metaphysician heal thyself. That I know that I'm now on purpose. I know that it's my charge to make sure that I'm doing what is mine to do. However that shows up. Today, right before we left to come here, little Yahoo news thing pops up on my phone, and normally I swipe them and I'll go back and read them later. And something said, read it. And as soon as I opened it, it said a 3-year-old was shot in Little Rock, Arkansas, because of road rage. Because the grandmother decided to take the child to go Christmas shopping. And while driving, she stops at a stop sign or a red light. And the man behind her got upset because she was moving too slow, so he got out of his car, walked over, and opened fire on her car. And I asked myself, of all the days, normally I swipe and go back later. Why now? Because for some reason, mine to do right then was to pray for them. I don't know why, and I don't need to know why. All I know is that part of why we are here, regardless of the season, is to remind ourselves of how powerful we are. So 'tis the season to remind yourself. 'Tis the season to love yourself. Because it's real easy for us to get into the holiday blues. It's real easy to get into the why we are miserable, why the world is going to hell in a handbasket. It's really easy to fall into that. It's the road most traveled. And our job as metaphysicians is to take the road least traveled. And sometimes that road least traveled means find a place there is no road and make one. Because ultimately, the only way we are going to change and transform and transmogrify the lower energies of this planet is by charting new courses. As Ginger reminded me via email, that when someone says something's impossible, Commander Data is told by Jean-Luc Picard, listen, man, listen. I understand that people say stuff is impossible, but listen here. Our job is to find a way to make it possible and make it so. So our job is there is no path, then make one. Whenever something pops up, contrary to what we want to buy into, contrary to what we know we're here to do, create a new path. So rather than, but Ray, there is this thing called war. And people get on me all the time because I say that I believe that war could end. And they say that's not possible. It's not possible in your consciousness because in your consciousness, you, for right now, have a need to believe in that. I don't want to believe in it. So I'm going to chart a new path that says this course of American, global, planetary history is a course that says 50 years from now, children will look back and say, but Nana, did you really have, but Pop, did people really fight? And we'll say, yes, there was a time when, but we've evolved past that. And that's because right here, right now, 'tis the season. A season is an era. A season is a time. I'm sure many of us have heard the phrase that sometimes you meet people and they're with you for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. We hear that. So a season is a period of time. 'Tis the season to remind ourselves how powerful we are. 'Tis the season to chart a new course. 'Tis the season to become 10,000 times more mindful of the thoughts that we think and the words that we speak. Remembering that by our words, matter changes because what you say matters. So if we remember that how we speak to the clerk in Target can change that person's life, I mean literally change their life. Because I don't know what's going on with this person, but by me joking about Tracy to this woman, her entire frame of reference is now transformed. We've had people say, my day was going so thus far till the two of you came in my line. and now I know I'm going to have a good day. All I did was stood behind Tracy and said, that's pretty much the gist of what I did. Just warning them, be careful, danger, Will Robinson, just warning you. And this person laughed. And because they laughed, they knew everything was going to be okay. Small, I don't believe in random, so small conscious acts of creation. Small conscious acts of kindness. That's what this season is about. It's not about wrapping beautiful gifts in a box with a bow and paper. That's part of what we've made it. But it's more about wrapping you, the beautiful gift, in your beautiful packaging. Presenting your presence to others. That's what this season is about. How do you become present in this present moment? Presenting yourself as the presence of all that God is. That's what this season is about. Let's treat. Grounding ourselves and simply allowing ourselves to be breathed. In this present moment, the truth that I know is that God is all there is, source is all there is, love is all there is. And that because it is all there is, right here, right now, it is present. Showing up in me, with me, around me, and showing up in the flesh as me. And knowing that it is all there is, and it is right here, in full, whole, perfect, magnificent presence, I know that everywhere I go, it is. And if this is true for me, it must also be true for every single person in this room, this building, this city, state, and planet. God is all there is, right here, right now. And all that God is available to every single one of us, right here, right now. The infinite wisdom of God, the infinite knowledge of God, the infinite beauty of God, right here. Fully accessible. The magnificence, the joy, the jolliness, the light of God, right here, right now. And with this breath, I am reminded that at any time I am not aware that I can change the channel, that I can upgrade or uplift my own mind, my own consciousness, to remind myself, whole, perfect, and complete. That I remind myself that at any moment I choose, it is the season. That at any moment I choose to remind myself of my wholeness, my perfection, and my completeness. It is. So right here, what I know is that for each and every person hearing these words, and each and every person feeling the vibration of this consciousness, all is well. All is good. Whole, perfect, and complete. And we breathe. We breathe knowing that the light of God breathes us. We breathe knowing that the love of God surrounds us, shows up as us. We breathe knowing that I am. I am that I am. With gratitude, I am able to release these words, knowing that each and every person, knowing that each and every situation, knowing that each and every experience across the face of this planet is already handled, already enveloped in the love, the light, the power, the healing of creation. That when I cannot feel my own hands healing war, when my own hands and arms cannot embrace the people in war-torn locations around the planet, that I know my consciousness is able to envelop them. And that as my consciousness envelops them, I know it is the consciousness of God. So it is with gratitude that I know, and I know that I know all is well. I release these words knowing that it is already so because it is already planted in the mind of God. It is done, it is so, and so it is.
So it is.